So this session, the next session, the next fireside chat session is institutionalizing reputation within. And for that we have as our moderator Mr. Neeraj Jha. He's already been with us in the first session. So I don't repeat the introduction, but we are really happy to have you again, sir, on the dais. Please come. And we also have Mr. Vishal Salvi, who is one of the speakers. CEO of Quick Heal Technologies, Mr. Vishal Salvi is a cybersecurity veteran, leading global awareness campaigns and integrating ESG into cyber safety. Having been an integral part of the information technology industry for about 3 decades, he has been a first-hand witness to the evolution of his field, particularly the rapid rise of digitization and the pivotal role cybersecurity plays in shaping the future of economies worldwide. Further, Mr. Salvi also believes in empowering individuals and enterprises in their journey to improve overall security posture by providing the right insights and simplifying security solutions. A passionate mentor and thought leader, he believes in sharing his knowledge at key local and global cybersecurity conferences. He has also received laurels from his work from prestigious institutions such as DSCI, CSO Forum, ICACA, etc. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Salvi. So I request Mr. Jha to take the discussion forward.
Thank you so much. Now, we've had a very fruitful day. We've discussed reputation from every angle. We've looked at every dimension, and it's proven beyond doubt that Maharashtra is what it is because it's managed to institutionalize reputation. We heard different views. Every view we didn't necessarily have to agree with, but that is perhaps the essence of good interaction. So we'll go back home thinking that we've learned something, and we can carry our differences of opinion. Now, what better backdrop than this? When I say this, Maharashtra, Mumbai and Bombay Stock Exchange combination, to have to explore institutionalizing reputation within. It couldn't have gotten better than this. And no better a person than Vishal to shed light on this. I and Vishal have worked together for years in HDFC Bank, fought many reputation battles. He was a Chief Information Security Officer, very, very critical role, and I was the Chief Communications Officer. And these two functions worked together, worked in tandem, combined well, and we reported to the same boss. The reason why I said it, we had a best structure. My boss, Paresh Suktankar, who was the risk head, every risk merged at his level. His risk, my reputation risk, every risk, market risk. So we had a ball, doing this. Thank you so much, Vishal, for taking time and being here. So it will have 2 parts again. We'll have questions for Vishal, and we'll have, of course, in the end, fireside, which will have a little more, tricky questions, Vishal, for you. But I'm sure you'll handle that as you've handled the other reputation risks in the past. So my first question is, hold on. My memory is not as good as it was earlier. What makes Maharashtra so different? There is something about this place. It's so welcoming, it's rewarding, and it's fair, as I mentioned in my speech earlier. There's something. I'm a complete outsider when I came here 3 decades back. It embraced me, and I'm not the only one. There'll be millions of people who will have such stories to share. What is so special about Maharashtra?
First of all, a very good afternoon, evening to all of you, and thank you, IOD, for inviting me here. In fact, before I even answer that question, I think the fights that Neeraj and I used to have in HDFC Bank was very classical, because the topic of today's conference is about reputation, and today cybersecurity is one of the important issue of cybersecurity is how do you protect reputation of your organization, because a cybersecurity attack, more than the damage it creates to your organization in terms of loss, actually it creates a multiple effect on the reputation of your organization. So most of the controls that you implement are more to protect your reputation than to actually protect your loss. But I think the challenges that and the dilemmas and the fights that we used to have is in terms of how do you respond to a cybersecurity crisis, him being in corporate communications and me being the CISO. And in good old days, the tension really was in terms of who is going to be in front of the media and who is going to respond to questions. And Neeraj used to always put me in, and I used to say, Neeraj, you should go and do that. So I think that's been many years back, but today I think it's, we talked about it even in the previous fireside chat. I think it's very important that the person who's actually owning and having the accountability needs to come in front of the people so that there is authenticity and transparency in terms of how that communication is managed. Now, coming to your question on Maharashtra, obviously the disclaimer is that, I'm a true blue Maharashtrian, born and bred Mumbaikar from Konkan region. So my views will be very biased. But having said that, I'll still risk a response. I think, first thing is that, the city of Mumbai, it's called the maximum city, and it's amazing the number of different lifestyles and lives that are lived every single day here. But it's truly a place of opportunity, and it's the magnet to the rest of the country, right? People come from all parts of the world. More so what's happened is that even in my native land, which is Ganpatipule, Konkan, we are now seeing north people coming in and actually taking that as their home. So clearly, apart from that, when you talk about the financial capital, the infrastructure, the land of opportunity, and therefore access to so much of different manpower, all of that obviously are going in for a city like Maharashtra or a state like Maharashtra. But I think more than that, the whole ecosystem that has got created. Of course, when I say all the positives, there are lots of things that needs to happen more. Now, clearly, when I moved to Pune and I came from Pune, and the fact that we have an alternative option through Atal Setu is a great thing, right? And now we're talking about the missing link coming in, and traveling between Pune, it's going to be twin cities, right? Where people can coexist and work in any of the places. So infrastructure is playing a very important role in the growth, and I think that contributes towards the reputation of the state. But I think the last thing I wanted to say is that when I was growing up, and my dad and mom both used to work in Reserve Bank of India, and all my friends, we took it for granted. But when I look at it, I realized that we had people from Gujarat, people from South India, people from North India, and we were all friends, and we never really, even for a moment, imagined that they were actually from some other place and I was a local, right? The feeling was that we were all together, and we could communicate and we can talk together, and that's the beauty of the city, that people come and they have taken this as the base and they can, call it their home. I've lived in other cities in the country. It's not the same.
So rightly put, Vishal, there's something, I keep saying this in lighter vein at home, that, I've got two kids. My son's got a Gujarati girlfriend. I always wanted one of my kids to have a Marathi, spouse. I don't know. I've still got chance. My daughter is small. So there's something about this place. There's something about the culture. There's something about, I'll share some of my own reflections, in the last 30 years that I've been here. I've not seen two people fighting on street. I've not seen younger boys ogling at girls. I come from, North India, perhaps even Bihar में भी वो नहीं करते हैं, बिहार में कुछ और करते हैं. लेकिन ये हमने यहाँ आज तक नहीं देखा है. There's something, gotta be something about this place, right? Culture, I don't know. So, thank you, and very nicely put, Vishal. Now, you've been a student of reputation, right? You're with HDFC Bank and Infosys. Now you're a custodian. You're sitting on that chair at Quick Heal. What has changed in terms of your outlook towards reputation? crisis, does it give you sleepless nights? I'm sure earlier it used to give us sleepless nights, but have those nights been more now, longer? What has changed?
I think, of course, I worked largely in multinational organizations. When we talk about Standard Chartered, we talk about HDFC Bank, you talk about PwC, you talk about Infosys. They're very large organizations, right? And so in the last, before coming into Quick Heal, I thought my core competence was about working in large organization and driving large transformation, talking about 300,000, 350,000 employees and driving the change across that. And a change like building a cybersecurity infrastructure or a cybersecurity culture. And you also remember the amount of change that we built in HDFC Bank, in the 8 years that I was there, in terms of, along with the team, to building that right culture. So clearly, from all accounts, joining Quick Heal was a risk because it's a smaller organization, and I never worked in that kind of a setup. So it was about really looking at what do you do. And for me, it was all about, trying to take an Indian institution and get in all the learnings and experience of working in multinational organizations and using that to scale an Indian organization to global standards, right? Now, Quick Heal, of course, is a very well-known brand and therefore has a good reputation in terms of what it stands for when it comes to protecting organizations against the cyber crimes and cyber threats. And it's number one cybersecurity brand in the country when it comes to consumer, right? My mandate is to really take it to the enterprises by putting the Securite brand, which is the Quick Heal enterprise brand, to the same standard as we have done for consumers. So clearly, it's a mandate to put in all the knowledge of building a brand and understanding the reputation of this organization and putting it here, right? So I don't think there has been a sense of anxiety or sleepless nights or anything. It's a pure process of translating those lessons into a strategy which you need to then double down and execute. And that's been the process since the time I'm here.
Bulk of the credit of institutionalizing the security, cybersecurity infrastructure and culture lies with Vishal Salvi. He may not say this. I've been witness. Even today, if somebody's here from the bank to correct me, the same protocols, architectures, processes, and consciousness we follow in the bank, and I'm proud to say that it's one of the best in the country, perhaps even in the world. So take a bow, Vishal. Here, help us understand, I have a view on, when I say institutionalize, help us understand your view. Now, when you say, how do you institutionalize something like a reputation? My belief is that it starts right from the top, right? There were disconnects in the morning when I didn't, push my point a little harder. What is your sense? It has to start from the top.
I'm in a conference talking about reputation. Most of the time I talk about cybersecurity. So it's a very unfamiliar topic to me. But I think when I look at it from my lens, really, whether you talk about brand, whether you talk about culture, and finally, how these two together translate into how the stakeholder perceive you is your reputation, okay? And so, it builds over a period of time, and it depends on the small things and the big things that you do as an organization for the values that you stand for, okay? And clearly, over a period of time, the stakeholders perceive you in a certain way. And that creates a reputation, whether you as an individual in terms of what you stand for, or you as an organization, what you stand for. And so, you have to understand the process of the value system and how the organization fights for that value system. I've seen that very, very closely at Infosys, and right from how Narayan Murthy and all the founders stood for those value systems, and they have been gone. They have gone for many years, and that value system has remained intact. No matter how much new blood comes in, it just cannot change that value system. And that's the most fascinating observation that I have when I worked in an institution like Infosys, right? Now, something similar, of course, when you look at HDFC Bank or you look at Standard Chartered, of course, is a global bank, but while headquartered in UK, is an emerging countries banks in Middle East, India, and Africa. And so it has to have a culture which comes from those British standards, but has to be imbibed by the Asian organization. And so therefore, the amount of effort the organization spends in building that culture was amazing, right? And because you are constantly doing and investing in your people and that culture and that values, it becomes the reputation that people see. So I don't think there is a very clear, solid answer, but I think it's a combination of all of these together, I guess, which creates a reputation for our organization.
Now that you're in the chair, you have every power. Other than the board, you don't report to anybody else. Do a lot of things that you may have wanted to do earlier, but didn't pass, the boss's muster. Anything that you would have different here in Quick Heal in terms of institutionalizing this?
No, I think it's the same thing, right? I think it's a, when I took this job as a CEO, of course, it's a completely different role because till the time I was either a business leader or a practitioner, and seeing it from that point of view. So one of the promises that I made is that, have a deep empathy towards what your shareholders, what your stakeholders, what your employees would want, and then try and conduct yourself with that lens so that, that empathy comes in very clearly. I've also promised myself that I'll not change me as an individual and change my style just because I become a CEO, because, it has taken me where it is based on what I have lived as values. But I think, when you start looking at from this vantage point, there are obviously a broader set of elements that you have to look at when you take decisions, right? And I think one of the most profound lessons for me has been the amount of power that you have when you come in this role, and the amount of change that you can drive is just amazing. So it is obviously a significant responsibility, but I think it's extremely powerful. And so the ability to be able to drive a significant change in the ecosystem, is just fascinating for me.
Is it documented? No, I'm not specifically talking about your company, from your experience. Is it documented? Is there a document, that kind of covers reputation in its entirety, in your experience?
I think it is...
Institutionalizing cannot happen unless you document it, right? It can't be left to known. Everybody is a brand ambassador and you be responsible. Somebody will have to be made responsible, and it starts from here.
I think it's, the closest document that I can talk about is code of conduct. Every organization has a code of conduct. And so that defines the parameter in which the company will conduct itself, right? And it is very clearly there. And the second is about how much committed you are towards enforcing that code of conduct. One of the things that we have done in Quick Heal is also created a culture code. And culture code is about looking at how do you want to define the parameters for your employees, because a lot of times, organizations struggle to get everybody together in terms of defining the culture, whether it is in terms of empowerment, whether it is in terms of transparency, whether it is in terms of openness, whether it is in terms of accountability. All of those things need to be understood well in organization. And so for a consistent implementation and understanding, we have developed a culture code. So I guess it's a combination of these documents which translates into how you eventually want to be perceived and what your reputation should be.
From here, when you go back, is there anything, that you'll take back and say, no, this is something that I should have done, now I'll do? Institutionalizing it. In my opinion, it's not as institutionalized as we seem to claim. Across companies, I'm saying. I'm not just talking about one company, across the company. It's good. Lip service is good. When you say institutionalize, you'll have to actually document somewhere. You'll have to make somebody, or appoint somebody who will be responsible for this. I gave an example of a CFO. Now today, we have a CXO for each major role, vertical, right? So when I say that, I mean this. Is there anything that you'll consider to make your friend happy?
So Neeraj, what I would say is that I've been blessed and lucky to have worked in the organization that I just talked about. Okay? So I really don't know organizations who have double standards, where they say something and do something else. I've heard them, but I have not seen it in action, right? So this is what I've known. And as I said, I've been blessed and lucky that I've been part of these institutions. So I know how hard it is and how difficult it is to maintain that path where you do not sway from what you have written and committed to your stakeholders. And it's always a dilemma. It's very easy to break it and find an easy path. But I know that these organizations, it is just impossible. And if anybody is found doing it, there is zero tolerance to it. Absolute zero tolerance. And one of the organizations we have worked together, right? So I think that's really what it is. It's about creating the culture where there is zero tolerance and everybody understands that to the T, where there is no benefit for being ignorant about that to anybody. If you're ignorant, you will face the consequences.
Yeah, so I wasn't surprised when you said I didn't have to make too much of a change in yourself, because I've seen you. There's nothing that you perhaps needed to change. On a scale of 10, allow me one more question to stay with Quick Heal. On a scale of 10 on reputation consciousness, how would you rate your company vis-a-vis? Don't worry, vis-a-vis is a tricky question. On Quick Heal, from on a scale of 10 now and when you joined.
See, I won't want to give you a score, okay? But I think what I would say is that, it's been now 30 years that the company is around. It's the first Indian cybersecurity startup, the first original cybersecurity startup, right? Founded by two brothers in Pune, and they have stood the test of time because there is significant amount of consolidation which has happened in the antivirus industry. There have been global players who tried to come here and try to dominate. Quick Heal is still number one antivirus player in the country for the last 30 years. And it has got 50% market share, right? So that talks about the reputation that we have as an organization. And we wouldn't be where we are if, and 30 years is a very long time. In technology industry, it's an extremely long time. Yeah. So that's what I would say. I don't want to hazard a score for this one right now.
No, that's absolutely perfect. I hope we are under time. कि time से ज़्यादा ले लिया. तो अभी rapid fire करें, है ना? Rapid fire. Where is your reputation at greater risk, home or workplace?
So the way I would answer it is that, your reputation will always be at risk if you are a cowboy or you are not clear about what you are trying to do, right? Whether it is at work or at home. I only know that you really have to screw it very bad to actually lose a reputation either ways, right? So I think it is equal. I would say that at home they would be more forgiving than what you will be at office. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that answers my second question, which would have been, who's the tougher boss? Your spouse or Dod?
So I don't think anybody would have a disagreement here. It's a spouse.
No, you can have disagreement. This is not going live. This is not being streamed live.
No, I don't want to please her, but it is a fact. It's a spouse.
Wonderful. What is harder to decode, malware or Mumbai traffic?
I would want to say that I've kind of decoded both of that. I'll tell you because, of course, this is what we do. So we know about malware, reverse engineering, and how to treat malware and how to protect computers against malware. That's what I've done all my life. But I think having traveled and being a traveler job for so many years, we've kind of cracked the code of traffic also, right? I travel 30 kilometers every single day, even while I'm in Pune. But traffic is not something which bothers me. So I guess I've kind of decoded both.
Wonderful.
I don't know whether that is the answer you're looking for.
Wonderful. The first one, I have always been Vishal's student, and whatever little I have learned, I've learned from him. The second one, I mean, there is a case that I should enroll into your school. Hold on. One rumor about you that was completely false, but you wish it were true.
Okay, so when I was joining Quick Heal, and I had resigned from Infosys, there were in the cybersecurity world there were many rumors as to where I was joining, but nobody knew except for me.
Some I also heard.
So I wish some of them were true, because then I would have loved taking those jobs as well.
I hope this is going live. What is the biggest reputational crisis you faced at home? Burnt toast or forgotten anniversary?
So, and this is a true story, okay? I don't think I've had a crisis at home the way you have defined it. So, I guess I'm doing okay. But we've been together, married for last 29 years, and known each other before that for around 10 years. So, it's all sorted, right?
Yeah, that's the people give credit to. That we talk about. We don't get tired of talking about Tata model, and this is another Tata model at home, at work. What is the biggest, I ask you, if your reputation were a software, would you call it antivirus, firewall, or autocorrect?
So I think because I'm in the business of cybersecurity, I would call it armor.
Okay. What's your go-to line when caught in a sticky situation? Let's take this offline, or this is above my pay grade.
So I'm assuming you're asking from in a corporate situation where you're in a sticky situation. I think if you are accountable for the outcomes of that situation, I don't think you should wish it away. Either both of the answers or anything else would be brushing it under the carpet. I think you should take it head on and deal with that situation, figure out a way to solve it, and because you need to take accountability of that.
Correct. In the morning, the first half, I had to hear this, that, we'll take it offline. Thakur sahab ne bola, lekin nahi liya offline unhone. What is your go-to line, I ask you? If you were not a cyber security or reputation building, you're not, what would you be? And no, you can't say cricketer.
So I have a very creative bent of mind. So in fact, whatever I do, even in my current day job, I bring in a lot of creativity. So if I was not in cybersecurity, then I think I would be in some field of art, because I like to draw, paint, and all that.
Yeah, you paint. I know this. Yeah. Wonderful. The most reputation risky WhatsApp group you're part of? Alumni, school, friends, or family?
Neither of the ones you mentioned, but I guess it will be more the professional group, because you can't post anything wrong over there, your reputation would be at stake. So I think the professional group, and we have lots of them in our WhatsApp group, so you have which where we share a lot of information, especially in cybersecurity world, breaches are happening every time, so you are constantly talking about those, so you have to be very careful in terms of what you post there.
Absolutely. One, very senior fellow lost his job in Trump's administration recently for having added one journalist. I don't know how it happens. It happened, Ashish, with you, right? You posted something on the group, but that was not that risky. It happens with all of us. Wrong group, wrong group. Finish the sentence. Reputation is like...
I think reputation is everything. In fact, whatever we do in our personal capacity or in your career, finally, your reputation is what takes you where you eventually land up, right? And so I think reputation is everything.
Wonderfully answered. What's the one thing you do that instantly restores your reputation at work or at home, besides saying sorry?
So I think in my mind, it is very difficult to get your reputation back if you have lost it instantaneously. It's just impossible, right? I think you will have it takes, first of all, a lot of time and effort to build a reputation. But if you lost it, you will take still equal amount of time to get it back. There is no insta gratification as far as reputation is concerned.
No, you're bang on. We keep talking about and Tata Group and everything. So they've had a history of 120 years. And pardon my saying this, with every due respect to the group, they've also had glitches. They've also had, bad times. But I'm saying it's like a fixed deposit. Reputation is like your fixed deposit, or maybe a recurring deposit, right? You keep on adding every month. So they have such a huge deposit. So even if it depletes by 2-3%, because of the base effect, it doesn't impact them. Had it been any other group, it would have suffered badly. So that's my opinion. Thank you so much for your patience, and thank you, Vishal, for the wonderful answers. And I hope, we didn't do badly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was a very, very interesting fireside chat. I'm sure. नहीं, दिल से ही बोल रही हूँ. हाँ, I'm sure all the others also agree with me. Yeah. So may I invite Kunte sir and Preeti to hand over the mementos to our panelists? Yeah. Mr. Neeraj Jha. Oh, that was Vishal. Like this. Mr. Jha. Yeah, please stay on the stage for a photograph. Thank you. Thank you once again.